Hi, performers and achievers. Welcome to Performers and Achievers Daily with me, Raj Gavurla. In today's episode, we are talking about stress and how to avoid stress, actually, how to not experience stress, and what happens if something does cause stress. So, here's my example. I live in a home that is by some woods. And in the woods are deer, turkeys, rabbits, bobcats, squirrels, obviously birds flying through. I sometimes sit outside by my fire pit and just observe and watch and talk with a guy that said something about or told me about deer corn. So I put some deer corn out there. Deer, turkey, and other animals. And so as I observed, I noticed that a bird looked like a crow to me. I'm not sure exactly what kind of bird. I can identify a blue jay. I can identify a cardinal. However, I am not the bird expert. Although I like to learn and watch wildlife, especially in my backyard or from my backyard. And naturally in there, the woods, I'm sure there are other kind of animals. Not really sure what they are. Earthworms, obviously, all around, including my yard. If I knew where to go to dig for them. And then there are probably some kind of mice or rodents or something of that nature. And also snakes. Yes, snakes. Although I rarely see a snake. They probably hear me and realize, hey, this is a good guy. So they're look and feel safe around me. However, something stressed a snake. Yes, a real snake. I have the picture, and I will put it into the show notes. And so, what happens when something stresses? And not sure what caused the stress. Could have been something, could have been maybe some skills were missing, or not sure, not really sure. It shouldn't be other animals. Why would other animals cause the snake to stress? No, they're not supposed to do that, whether it's other snakes or other species. And that's probably not people, not many people back there. So something did. Not sure again what it was. However, before I finish the snake story, let me finish the deer corn turkeys and other species. I asked this guy who happened to be a hunter, who actually came to my place to remove the snake. How do these deer, turkey, etc., other species, know to find where to find the corn? He thought about it. He said, well, there's some kind of corn where they smell it. I'm not so sure that my corn, the one that I bought, had any kind of scent to it. However, I didn't really pick it up and smell it. However, it probably does have some kind of scent. And I'm sure animals, at least most of them, probably a vast majority of them, have a better sense of smell than I do, than humans. And so I was thinking about it. So I started to think about it. How could it be? Smell is one way. You know, the wind, the scent, all that. Sure. Then I was thinking, this bird, before he decided to, or chose or decided, whichever word you all like, to go and have some corn, started, I don't know the word, making sound, communicating, making sound. Animals do communicate with one another. Now, they're not only communicating to people or other birds like them in their species, but they're communicating to other species. The other birds, hey, that kind of bird is making this sound, communicating something. Then later on in the day, I saw a rabbit over there. So I don't know, maybe the rabbit gets some corn, goes around, hops away, and some other species of animal looks at the rabbit like, rabbit looks like he's not stressed, which is good. We don't need stress, want stress, have to stress, have stress, none of that. Take all that away. Stay away from that. So what's one practical breakthroughs in learning here, regardless of where you are, as a person, individual, on a team, at your home, in your family, extended families, friends, citizens, others, in your place of business, where you do your job, your work, your workplace, etc. School, I don't know, anywhere in the community. Is what are you doing to where the atmosphere, the ambiance, the environment, the positive leadership, practical learning, and the culture, there's no stress. We don't have it. It's not where we are. Not if any of us, and it's not in any of those teams, and it's not in these workplaces, these businesses. So what would happen then? Lots and lots and lots of good would happen. And so this animal, the bird, the rabbit, have excellent communication skills with their species and other species, because the other species do communicate. They communicate differently. It's not just the way like humans, actually, human beings. We communicate in lots of ways. It's not just with visually or with words. There's lots of ways, right? So animals are very similar. Now, obviously, they are not able to say words. However, they do have excellent communication skills. And that's one of the reasons. There's no stress. No stress. Excellent communication skills. And so, getting back to the snake, somehow, something stressed the snake. I'm not sure what. However, according to the guy that came over who removed the snake, and I was to remove it, the snake most likely started crawling away, got by my house, started going along the house, got to the cement porch, and then turned naturally, maybe started baking on the porch a little bit, probably not. Turned just because it turned, it's stressed. And voila, he's in my house. Yes, about a 3 foot snake. I see him. I'm calm, composed, poised. Now, I do like wildlife. However, I do not want or need any kind of animal that's not like my domesticated animal in my house. So, as I approached him, and before I did that, I got a bucket and a broom. You can take a bucket, like a trash can, big bucket, take a broom, set the trash can, lower it, the bucket, and just sweep the snake into the bucket. Simple. However, since the snake was stressed, as I approached him, took off. That's what stress does. Stress took off. Excellent communication skills are not able to occur when someone, including an animal, is stressed. And so I couldn't get to the other side of the snake, so I could sort of rush at him a little bit and sweep him towards the back porch, the opening where he did come in, and just sweep him out. Because on that side of the house, there's no way to go around him. Anytime I moved close to him, he'd go away towards that side instead of towards the side where the glass door is. So finally, I just kept watching him, kept watching him. And so eventually I saw him go into a bedroom. This was my good opportunity. I positioned myself with a chair, with my bucket, and with my broom right outside the door at an angle so that if he did start coming out, he would go in the direction of the glass door going out, leading outside. However, since he was running away, anytime I approached the snake, I called a snake remover. And this guy came over. And this is the guy who I talked to and made practical breakthroughs in learning about deer corns and snake removal. So he came in. Where's Snake? Ah, he's in there. Put on this headband with flash, with a light, and I have one of those. Looked around, don't see it. Look down, and there's the snake. Now he had a device that he could grab the snake with. However, he didn't use it. Grabbed the snake with his bare hands. And the snake bit him. He didn't like that. Snake was stressed. When a snake is stressed, an animal, a person is stressed, there excellent communication is not occurring. However, he was able to get the snake, put him in the bucket, and I took my picture, or the picture of the snake. Then he took the snake outside and released it. And so, what's the purpose of my story? What are the practical breakthroughs in learning? Stress is the precursor to most anything, including your health, your wellness, the precursor. Stress is. It's not pressure, it's stress. And so that was my adventure. And once the snake realized that he was going back, he was unstressed. And I asked the guy who caught him, well, how come the snake doesn't know to not come into the home? It's a different environment, different feeling on the floor, everything. He's like, oh, it's not that intelligent. They don't have that kind of intelligence. And I'm thinking, I'm not so sure about that. And before, when I was calling other snakes, people to remove it, they're like, yeah, sometimes, they get like that when they're this. And he described a bunch of characteristics. Then I'm thinking, well, how come more snakes don't come then? Why this one? Here's my answer. He was experiencing stress. Stress is what causes an animal to. All right. My adaptability link, although I do know you're not an animal, is humans. You as a person, individual, on your team, probably have a primary care physician, so you have regular checkups, or you may have some, be some type of patient. Nothing that keeps you from living, and etc. However, what could have prevented it? How to prevent? Well, Pretty sure I've answered it several times. What's the solution? How to solve it? How to prevent it? However, sometimes I understand it. People will absorb at their own pace. They make practical breakthroughs in learning at their own pace. All right? And that's true. I have lots and lots of patience. And some of you will get this right away. Some of you will take some time to set in, think about it. Hmm. Hmm. Sort of try to experience what's going on and make it relevant and relatable to you somehow. However you may do it. Now, some of you, although you got it like this or the other way around or vice versa, or you'll be able to take it and apply it to something else. And it's more beneficial to you, right? You gain wisdom, experience, you gain knowledge, you gain skills. Hmm. Right? And your point of view is has a lot more clarity, right? I have lots and lots of patience. I'm not in any situation to stress people out or anyone out or any animals. No, not doing that. That would not be appropriate. So, how does this occur? Well, I've said the solution several times solve excellent communication skills. Excellent communication skills. So, something causes stress. I don't know what that is. However, there was species communications. Probably other snakes were looking for this snake. Probably. Hmm. I don't know. They might have started communicating to each other. Said, well, we saw him go towards that house. We're not going over there. However, he probably was stressed. Something stressed him. Other animals could have seen the snake. Hmm. How come he's going over there? He's probably stressed. Or they might not have. So the animals, same species, communicate. Excellent communication skills. Other species communicate. Excellent communication skills. However, stress. Not sure. Something caused the stress. Not sure what it is exactly, how that occurred. And so, the snake has been removed. And so, for you, people around you, your family, extended family, friends, citizens, others, in your business, your job, your work, your priority tasks, your situation. or their excellent communication skills occurring? Do you use excellent communication skills? That's what I have for you today. Your bonus assignment is, how do you make my podcast, this episode, relevant and relatable to you? That's your bonus assignment. And your second bonus assignment is for you to make practical breakthroughs in learning about something that's just occurred, something you don't have that much knowledge about. You could be knowledgeable about it. You could Google it. You could talk to the right people about it. So birds signal danger and they signal food. Excellent communication skills. If you like my podcast, my video, like it. Comment in the comment section. For those of you who are interested in private, personal, professional, confidential services and programs with me, Raj Gavurla, visit my website at rajgavurla.com. Fill out the brief form, and we will contact you as soon as we can. Enjoy your day.